Have you ever looked at a famous painting or a piece of contemporary art and noticed something vaguely familiar about the imagery or the style? Are you a bit of a nostalgic at heart who loves to see crisp modern-day design, but which also celebrates its own heritage and history? Well, if the answer is yes to either of these, this could just be the place for you. My name's Angus MacDonald, welcoming you to a new conversation in art and design built around the concept of retromodernism. Now, we're adopting the term retromodernism because basically that's just what it is. It's a fusion of classical and modern as key ingredients for an artist or a designer's vision. The kicker in this art-ism, though, is that you can trace its influence back across the entire timeline of history. Caravaggio is every bit a retromodernist as, say, Banksy or Velázquez, Picasso or Francis Bacon. All of those artists have tapped into an artistic tradition, borrowed and repurposed ideas, and then used their own genius, their vision and their social outlook to create something which is uniquely theirs. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is retromodernism in a nutshell. So let's take a look together at a couple of examples of what it is exactly we mean. Il Canto della Vergine, luxuriant oil on canvas by Italian painter ROBERTO FERRI. We can see all the classical grace and the beauty typical of Ingres, coupled with the mythological themes and the finite attention to female form which distinguished the paintings of William Adolphe Bouguereau in the late 1800s. Ferri's work revives that age-old battle between the divine and the unholy, light and dark, pain and pleasure, but in a graphically personal, modern-day form. Magnus GJOEN is a prolific London-based print artist and sculptor, not to mention a former designer for fashion doyenne Vivienne Westwood. Passionate about historical art forms ranging from Italian Renaissance painting to ornate French porcelain, Magnus's work takes chiaroscuro to new levels and juxtaposes the destructive power of weapons with the fragility and the finesse of his chosen decorative form. Now, both of these artists, as well as many others who are working today, share an extraordinary metaphysical connection, if you like, with their forebears, and they feature as hotspots on a time-art continuum that runs right the way back to prehistory. When our Neanderthal ancestors began to define their culture by carving small female figurines called Venuses, and by making handprints, by painting hunting scenes and animals on cave walls, they were establishing a deep-set cultural pattern. They were also elevating the status of the individuals in their groups whose shamanic storytelling powers bridged the gap between the real world that they understood and the unexplainable. Now, Pablo Picasso is reputed to have once said, "Good artists borrow, great artists steal." And whatever your take on that is, he was the ultimate magpie when it came to pinching and pimping art. From the bull studies that he drew after he visited the Chauvet caves in the 1940s, to his own versions of Déjeuner sur l'herbe by Manet, the African masks that nudged him towards Cubism, Picasso used many forms and many other artists' work as a kind of a springboard to dive into his own creativity. So whether we call it sampling, stealing, rehashing, remashing, whatever the word, our mission now is to tell this particular story in full, tracing it right the way back across time. We want to bring value and recognition to the serious artists whose work samples and reboots past codes and conventions for genuinely creative reasons, giving it fresh relevance for today's audiences and also stimulating new interest in the old artworks. We'll discuss all things creative from this perspective, including, why not, some distant relations like appropriation and postmodernism, but underlining the fact that this is an up-to-date, multidisciplinary, time-travelling concept. As a style, we call it retromodernism. As a philosophy, our mantra is pure art and soul, a social guideline and a spiritual glue connecting artists across the ages. So whether you're an artist, a collector, a pure art lover, we hope that you'll stay with us, you'll share your ideas and passions, help build a community and write a new chapter in the art history books. I'll paste in the links below to the artists that I've mentioned in this video, but please do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, and check out the website. We've got a Facebook page and Instagram pages as well. I'll leave you then, I think, with the words of the legendary French filmmaker Jean-Luc Godard, who once said, "It's not where you take things from, but it's where you take them to." Thank you and see you soon, and as we say in Italy, alla prossima.